It's time for another episode of the Film Room, and today we're going to take a look at Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan. Here is a prospect that, standing at 6'4", 219 pounds, is often mocked into the top 10 of the 2025 NFL Draft and considered by many to be one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in this class, with his length, his catching radius. Has a lot of people mocking him, whether it be the Patriots, the Raiders, the Panthers, Jaguars, lots of teams up in the top 10 of this upcoming draft. So what kind of player is he? What do I think about him? We're going to all find that out here. So if you're not familiar with what I do, I have some clips from about 3 games of McMillan's to kind of showcase the type of player that he is, how he translates to the NFL, and then I'll give you my thoughts on him. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. Now, the first thing that really stands out about Tetairoa McMillan is his catching. And on this clip, we see him at the top of the screen. He's going to line up both inside and outside throughout the games. And he just is a natural hands catcher. As we see here, short little hook route, post up, and just makes a nice, easy hands catch within his frame. Maybe a little bit higher, but just the ease in his catching. He's got big hands, and that ball just is, suction cup to him. But what makes McMillan so good is the ability to make those catches outside of his frame or those off targets. So as you can see from the yellow arrow, he's at the bottom of the screen. And he's just going to run a comeback type route. And this ball's going to be low. And as we see here, he's just able to reach down. And with the long arms, it helps too. But this ball looks like it's around his knees, maybe even lower. And he just makes a nice, easy catch. And I think if you're looking at this, it doesn't really look anything out of the ordinary. It looks like he just reached down and grabbed it. But as you look closer, this ball's pretty low. And he doesn't have to go to the ground. He doesn't have to really look like he's reaching too far to make this catch. To kind of carry on with that, on this clip, we see McMillan's going to be crossing at the bottom of the screen. And this ball is going to be high. And this is where his height, his leaping ability comes into play. He's able to on this crossing route, ball's high, he's able to leap up, leave his feet, and then make that catch over his head. Once again, his just massive hands just engulf that ball and come down with that catch. And, being 6'4", having long arms, being able to leave your feet, there's not a lot of balls that are going to be over his head. And that's just such a security blanket for quarterbacks to be able to just put it up there, know that he's able to leap up and go make that catch. Now, one thing that McMillan's going to have to do in the NFL is be able to catch contested balls. And because he's not an elite athlete, he's going to be able to create separation, but he's going to be more of a he's going to have to win with leverage and with body position. And this clip against Texas Tech kind of shows that. So he's going to be coming into the screen right here now, running kind of like a dig route. And he's got that defender right in his hip pocket, but he's got good inside body position, and he's in a great spot. So when this ball gets thrown, the defender's on his backside, and he's able to make this catch with the defender draped all over him. Safety coming over trying to lay a hit, and he's able to still hold on to that ball and make that catch. And these are the type of throws, he's at his best working over the middle, working those intermediate routes. These are balls that situations he's going to see in the NFL quite a bit, and he shows the ability right here to catch and hold on to that ball. All right, in the last clip I want to show about his catching, here's a ball against New Mexico. His quarterback just goes ahead and throws it up, kind of a little bit of pressure, and he's stuck along the sideline, but he does a good job tracking that ball, noticing that it's going towards the sideline, and then just having the awareness and the body position just to kind of shield off that defender, use his body to shield him off, and then be able to make that catch with his feet planted in the ground and make it so, that's a catch in the NFL. He's got 2 feet down there. And it's just the awareness and the body control to be able to, like I said, shield that defender. He made it so that defender couldn't make a play on the ball, all because of how he positioned his body, used it as a shield, caught the ball away from his body, and is able to make that catch along the sideline. Now, if we transition away from him as him catching the ball and more into him as a route runner, here McMillan's at the bottom of the screen. Now, McMillan, because of his size and his athleticism, he's not going to be a precise route runner. And we see that here with this slant. And slants, as I said a little bit ago, intermediate is where he's going to make his money. And here he's got a cornerback playing well off. He knows that, and he's able to just roll right into a slant route. Notice he also, when he catches that ball, he's catching that ball behind him. Kind of goes into his ability to make catches. But just rolls right into it and is able to make easy yards here. We see another example of that here against New Mexico. Same premise, but this time he's going to run an out route. Cornerback's playing off, respecting the ability to potentially go deep, and he's able to just push at him, roll outside to make that catch. Love that ability to extend, but as we're looking at the route running, it's just because he's got that ability to go deep, because he can, with his long legs, he can close the gap on you quickly. He's able to do that and then just roll out to use that body to shield him. So that he can get that separation. For him, separation is just essentially getting leverage. And he can do that with that speed to close fast and then just the ability to just quickly roll out. Now, this is a play that I think McMillan's going to make his hay in the NFL. So he's at the top of the screen. He's going to run a dig route. And what I like about here, once again, he released to get inside leverage. That's the thing about McMillan. He has a good release. He has that enough short area quickness to be able to get to where he needs to be. So he gets that inside release, inside leverage, and then he's able to just, once again, roll into the middle and make this catch. I think that's where he's at his best, this intermediate route, using his size and his leverage and just able to make those quick little cuts, quick little changes of direction that allow him to get open and give him enough separation that he can use his body, his length, and his catching skills to help move the chains. Now, another route that he runs quite a bit, and another route that I think he's going to run a lot and have success with in the NFL is that comeback. So he's at the top of the screen at the numbers, and he's going to once again push deep. And then he does a good job for his size. He is able to sink his hips, maybe not as much as you would want, but he is able to sink his hips. And then I love that he works his way back to the ball. He doesn't stand there and wait. And I think this is a great thing for him and his skill set, because he isn't extremely explosive, is even when he does sink his hips good, that defender might not be totally off of him. And the fact that he works towards the ball, once again, uses his body to help shield and keep the defender at bay. And here's a guy, you'll notice this is what my fourth route that I've shown you. He's not ran a single go route, deep ball like that. And he doesn't, in the 3 games that I watched, he doesn't do that a lot. But he's still able to create a lot of separation on this comeback, and a lot of that is because it does fit well within his routes that we've seen him run. He could be working this dig, could be working, an out, whatever it may be, but he's able to sell that he's pushing. What is he going to do? Keep you guessing at the stem, and like I said, he's able to sink those hips, work his way back to the ball, get it into an open area, and extend the play. All right, So I've kind of shown you the basic routes that he runs: slants, out, dig, comeback. I mean, that's the heavy recipe of what Tetairoa McMillan is as a route runner. But because he does those things and he does them well, he's able to set them up. So here against Texas Tech, he's at the top of the screen again. And he's going to run, and he's going to push, and he's going to do a little stop and go route. So we see the stop, enough to get the cornerback to bite, and then he's able to burst forward to get that separation over the top. Not a ton of separation. He's never going to get a ton of separation on a consistent basis. But he's able to get enough to get by him, and this ball's up for him to go up and make that play. Now, he doesn't end up making this catch, and as we see here from the end zone view, he's able to go up. Just the ability to go up and high point that ball. The cornerback was able just to hit the arm and break it up. But we're looking at the route running, like I said, just enough to stop and go to get that defender just to stop with him, gives him that advantage. And yes, he'd like to see him make that catch. There's times that I saw, for as good of a contested catcher that everyone says he is, you'd like to see him make this catch. But like I said, when we're looking at the route running, he puts himself in a position to be able to make this play down the field. All right, and one more last clip of him as a route runner. Here against Arizona State, we see him at the top of the screen. And he's... as I showed you at the beginning, when I started talking about his routes, the ability to roll into his slant routes, his out routes. Here he goes to roll into what looks like a quick out. He's able to do this, getting that cornerback to freeze, thinking he's going to have to close down on that out route. And McMillan just rolls it back upfield for a little out and up for a touchdown. And it's not the most precise route, because as you can see here, as he's rolling out, he still has that body lean, like he's still floating up top. So I think, part of this is on the cornerback. But when you are a heavy dose of quick outs rolling out here, that's going to get that cornerback to bite, and then he just has enough burst to blow past him for that touchdown. All right, and then the last thing I want to talk about is his ability to get yards after the catch. For a guy his size, you would think he's not much, get some extra yards here and there, but not a big yak guy. Instead, he does. He does show the ability to do that. So he's at the bottom of the screen, right here, and he's just going to kind of run basically a slant type route underneath those receivers. But what I love here is this is where that body control comes into play. He makes that catch, sees that defender back there. He's able to reverse course, get upfield, and then able to navigate his way, make a lateral cut there to get yardage. And this is stuff that we've seen at various points in various different games. You get him here, he's able to make one defender miss, and then he's able to build up that speed to be able to get a long run, to navigate through some traffic, and make long yards after the catch. There is a lot to like about Tetairoa McMillan as a prospect in the 2025 NFL class. If you just look at his size, you look at his ability to make contested catches, to make out of frame catches. He's a guy that a lot of quarterbacks love to play with because they don't have to be entirely precise to get the ball to him. There are some concerns, in my opinion. He's not a great athlete. He's not a bad athlete by any stretch of the means. But he's not going to be that explosive guy that's going to create a lot of separation. And then there was times, and I showed you, and I do think he has good hands. But for someone his size, where his calling card is those spectacular catches, there was times where he didn't come up with the ball that you really think he should have. I showed you that clip on that stop and go, and I know that the defender hit his arm, but those are plays that you would think that he would make. And I just worry sometimes. We had a stretch in the NFL draft where we had guys like Laquan Treadwell and Josh Doctson. It was these guys that were the big basketball size power forwards playing receiver, and they didn't pan out. And I just worry that McMillan's going to be one of those guys. Now, he could very well be a Drake London, where Drake London fits into that same mold, who went in the top 10 to the Falcons and is playing really well as a young receiver in the league. So it'll be just fascinating to see how he does. I do have some concerns about him, but I do think he's going to be a first-round pick. He got invited to the draft, and they were very limited on who they're inviting this year. So that tells you he's probably going to be a top 15 pick. And there's a couple of wide receiver needy teams early in the draft, Carolina being one of them that I could see might take him. But we also might see a team like the Raiders who really could use a receiver. Maybe he falls into the teens. And I think he's probably going to go in the top 20. It'll just be fascinating to see where NFL teams value him. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode of the Film Room. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then also hit the bell for the notifications to get an update whenever I put out a new video. While you're out there, follow me on social media, draft_Brian. Wherever you do social media, you can find me at draft_Brian. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time.